Hi class, hello. Today I will talk about 2.3, how to draw the graph of the function. And in this section, you will answer the question is if we graphing y equals to fx, um, then each point on the graph will have a form as x equals to fx, or maybe x comma y equal to x comma lx, and how to graph that or how to draw it in a correctly way. So for example, from 2 slides back in section 2.2, I want to go back, right? Let me go back to right here. So you can see that we have a graph of ballpoint pens columns that have some other pairs as 80,000 and 32,000. And then another one is here as 40,000, 24,000. And then two other point is 00 and 160,000, 0. So now let me go back to the columns here, and I say, in order to graph this function, I need to have the highest point, which is 80,000 and 32,000 for the revenues. And now I'm gonna have some other point as say 40,000, comma 24,000, right? And the other two, maybe you can consider is the first one 00, and the last one is 160,000 and 0. So you don't let's go back to make sure I have correct 3. Yeah, everything's good. So you can see that I want the last part should be at the point that graph go down to the value of revenue is 0. So I don't want to have the negative things, right? And also the graph has to cover the maximum point, maximum value. So okay, now let's have some other problem so you can we can discuss more with that. Okay, so this problem is talking about wristwatch and the price demand equation for selling an inexpensive brand of wristwatch is x equal to 5,000 minus 125p, where x is demand and p is price. Okay, so you may gonna draw a graph like this for this function, and you may ask me, hey, is that okay already? So I would like to say, is a straight line, which is one of the good thing, okay? Is good. Maybe I gonna write good in this. But But what about what you need to improve is um, is you need the scale, right? Right? You need to have the scale. You need to have label, because I don't even know what is this, right? And also maybe I need to know what the slope of this gonna be exactly, right? I know that from this is a straight line going down. Week 35 for slope is negative, right? So this is negative 125, but I don't know why, how can I have exactly 125? It just show me that it's less than zero because it's going down. Okay. So now the graph above doesn't look like the one we have seen before. And what is wrong with it is it doesn't have scale. I'm gonna say, let me see. I'm gonna say it doesn't have scale correctly. Correctly. All right. And what else? It needs to be labeled. No label, no hashtag. Oh, misspell. No label. What happened? No has mask. Misspell. No has max. And yeah, maybe we need to improve that. So let's go down to see another one. Okay, so this one is um, improved, right? But the thing is here, can you see the slope of this? Can you tell me the slope of this? Not an easy, right? You need to have what exactly number here, so you can calculate it and um, tell me what exactly. So slope cannot see easily, right? That's one thing. Um, so what is good in here is have is label already, right? Is also have has mask, has max, uh, max, and what else? Yeah, I think that's all they have in here. But still we cannot see easily. So that means what? We need to change the scale. Change the scale. That so the intercept. So the intercept the top and right edge. You want this guy, and this guy will be the top and the right of the edge of the graph. So you see it clearly. Okay, so let's move to the next page. Okay, now I think this one is the best one. So this one, what is good of this one? I have label is good. What else? I have has max. And it also clear picture, right? So you can see everything. You can also have you can also find out the slope easily. Okay, so let's move down to the next page. Okay, so this is talking about the guideline for the drawing graph, and you know that this is 4 things you need to use in order to do the to drawing the graph. Okay, I let you guys read this, but I want to move to the next page. Okay, so this next page I have another problems, and this talking about linear model for production cost. We given the linear model for production cost with the fixed cost F and V as a variable cost or cost per unit V. All right. So what is F on the graph of the cost function here? Okay, I'm gonna say fixed cost. And what is V on the graph of the cost function? Okay, I'm gonna say variable cost. So we is also call cost per unit. Okay. So maybe I'm gonna also say that this also is the y-intercept in your graph, and this gonna be the slope of the graph, right? So slope. Okay, let's move down to the next page. Rose bush. So this problem I'm talking about rose bush. The cost to grow X rose bush is this function, Cx equal to 1000 plus 10x. Okay, so what the fixed cost? Easily, it is this guy, F. And 10x, 10. And 10 here will be V, with the variable cost. So this F equal to $1,000, and variable cost will be V equal to 10. Okay. So suppose that 200 rose bushes is reasonable estimate for maximum number of rose bushes that the grower can grow and sell in town. if we draw the graph of the cost function, what could be a reasonable tick mark for the x-axis? So you can see that I want to have maximum for the x value has to be 1200. So maximum is 1200. And what about the minimum should I have? Could be negative infinity? No, because this is like a real life problem, right? So I, in order to make it like reasonable, you should make it minimum as 0. All right. So then that means what x is in between 0 and 1200. Okay, so maybe note that cannot be negative. Okay, let's put down. Now, the reasonable set of value x can take between 0 and 1200 and above. Compute the cost to grow 1200 rose bushes. Okay, so I have the function of cost equals to 100 plus 10 times x, right? No. Yes. Yes. So now they want us to compute the cost of 1200 rows. I mean, x equal to 1200. You can just plug into here to get the cost at 1200, and that's going to be equal to $13,000. So if we draw the graph of the cost function, what would be reasonable tick mark for the cost axis? You're gonna say the maximum for the cost axis should be equal to $13,000. And yeah, and I should maybe say minimum should be from 0 also. 0, right? So so maybe you should count by the scale at as 500 or 1000, so that will make your graph look nicer. Okay, make graph look nicer. Okay, so let's move that to the next page. All right, and you see that in this graph, I using the scale for the cost of dollar is in 1000s, right? In thousands, and the top maximum here is 13,000. And actually, because I consider for the number of rows bushes is x here, right? And this should be labeled as C of x. So consider from 0 to 1200. You see that it's cover everything up to 1200. So what is good about this graph? Maybe I'm gonna say good, which is about label only. What else? Has Mac already scaled correctly? I think that's really good. But if I wanna say bad, maybe I should say need to label C of x and x, right? Um, in mathematics, we really need this so people can do it easily. For the other, maybe not. For the other subject, maybe not. But in mathematics, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna move to the next page. Revenue and cost on the same graph. Okay, now what happens if you want to have the graph of revenue and the cost on the same X, Y coordinate or on the same graph? So maybe in that case, you in order to make the graph look nicer, maybe you have to change the range of the X a little bit. So in here, you see that we have two functions. One is for the cost and one for the revenues. So the range of values for x in the graph of the cost function for growing rows bushes is from 0 to 1200 as above we found it, right? And we have it. But is that also the correct range of the values for the revenue function x equals to x 5 minus 0.05x? Okay, so maybe some of you maybe say yes. Okay, let's check. So let's compute R for 1200 or at x equal to 1200, right? What happened with the R, right? So you know that 1200 will be, according to the revenue function, you're gonna have x. Okay, I put x at something. Multiply with the 45 minus 0.05 times with something. Come on, what is that thing? 1200. That's as input. Okay, and then use a calculator. You're gonna have okay, so 1200 times with 45 minus with 60. So and then down a little bit, I will have 1200 will be equal to what? Negative 1800. So actually negative 18,000. So this is less than 0 and not reasonable in the real life, right? Nobody wants revenue is negative. So so I say not reasonable. Reasonable. So you don't want this value when you draw the graph of the revenues. But what is value that you want, the maximum value that you want for consider the value of x. Maybe you're gonna take a look at the graph of the revenues on the page of price demand over here. Now you can see that we actually want when the graph going down to zero of the revenue, right? So let's go back to our columns. It was here. Okay, so then the revenues for selling 1200 rose bush is negative, so it doesn't make sense to sell that many rose bush. Okay, for week value of x is revenue positive, and revenue is product of the number of items sold and the price at which each item sells is Rx times Rx equal to X times PX. So the revenues is positive when both price and quantities are positive. So when is that? So you can actually want to say want to say no, actually I just need to find, I just gonna need to find the range of the x. Oh, sorry, x from where to where, right? To make the x greater than 0. Okay, so I have our x equal to x times with 45 minus 0.05 x. So I will need to have the units x greater than 0 and also the price also greater than 0. So then that means what? The 45 minus 0.05 x greater than or equal to 0. You can see that this p equal to this, right? And then you subtract both hand side by 45. Then you have negative 0.05 x greater than or equal to negative 45. Then now you divide both sides by negative 0.05. But remember, when you divide both sides by negative 0.05 or negative something for the inequality, you have to change the inequality sign. So that means what? That means you are having now is x less than or equal to 45 divided by negative 45 divided by negative 0.05. That's going to be equal to 900. So that means what? X has to be less than negative 900. And also we know that x greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so this I can Now I can have the range is from 0 and 900. In order to graph is look, in order to have the graph cover all the value of all the reasonable value of revenues, then you need to have x from 0 to 900. Okay, so let's go down to the next page. Okay, so after choosing revenue revenue is 0 when x equals 0 or x equal to 900 also, right? Also, you should know that, to let me go back to the last page. Right. In order to get x equals 0, when if x times 45 minus 0.05x equal to 0, and you're going to use zero factor method. That's give you 0, x equals 0, or 45 minus 0.05x equals 0. And then it means that x equals 0 or x equal to 900. So then you will go back to the one down here and say we're going to use this from x from 0 to 900 for the value of x, and a little experiment, a little experimentation show that the maximum value of the revenue function x is a little more than 10,000, so we can restrict the value on the vertical axis is to from 0. It's not 2, it's from 0 to 12,000, and then I'm going to have the picture, no, sorry, the graph, cost and revenues in the same, on the same graph here. So you see that the blue line, the blue graph is for present for the revenue, and the brown one is for the cost. Okay, and you see that now I just have the x value, I cover the x from 0 to 900, right? And that will cover all things for the graph here. All right. The only thing that you may consider in here now is what is the maximum over here, the peak of this mountain, and what is that going to be? You actually need to plug in. So I say here's max. So in order to find it, you need to plug in the value of x over here into the function of x. So I say plug x equal to something. Let's see, what is that? Into x to get max of x. Okay, so how can I get this middle point actually, right? Easily you can take the 900 here, right? You plus with 0 here, you divide by 2, right? So 900 plus 0, you divide by 2, and then you're gonna get the middle value, the middle point here, the value of x in here. So is that going to be 450? It is going to be 450. So x equal to 450 into the Rx, and then to get the maximum Rx. So what is that going to be? X equal to x times what's that? I forgot. 45 minus 0.05x. And that's going to give you equal to 45x minus 0.05x squared. Actually, we don't have to do distribution. You're just going to plug in with maybe faster. 1045 minus 0.05. I don't have enough space. Let me clean this up. So that's going to be 1450 times with 45 minus 0.05 times 450. And then you use a calculator to get 45 minus 0.05 times 450. It's going to be multiplied 450, going to be 10,000. 10,125. And you see that the maximum revenue is above 10,000 a little bit. So that is correct answer. All right. So why go all the way up to 12,000 on the vertical axis when the parabola stay below that? So I would say in order to make because I want to show the reader that the cost is still going up, because so the cost function is still going up. Is going up. So it just means that the cost function is still going up. So so I just let the rain. Let the y-axis is up to 12,000, even though the parabola stayed below that. So, and I think that is okay. So the last page, selling DVD players. Suppose that the price demand equation for selling DVD player is x plus 2p equal to 300, and where x is demand, p is the price. So label the tick mark on both axes in the graph below. So for this problem, in order to get this guy and this guy, you may have to substitute for say x in this for x equals 0 and y equals 0 in order to find the x-intercept and y-intercept, right? So or in here actually I'm gonna say price intercept and demand intercept, right? So let's say at x equals 0, we have 0 plus 2p equal to sorry, equal to 300. Then I'm gonna have we have p gonna be equal to divided by 2 inside. I have p equal to 150. So this guy over here is 150. All right. And I'm gonna change the other color. Say at p equals 0, we have say x plus 2 times 0 equal to 300. So x gonna be equal to 300 for the remain. So that's be 300, right? And to scale this, you should know that this is 0, right? From 0 to 300, you should know that each scaling here should be 100. So 200, right? And this up to 400. And from 0 to 150, you may think about the middle of that. What is that going to be? 150 divided by 2 will be equal to 75. So it's here, right? And so 75, to get from 0 to 75, you may be thinking about divided by 3 both inside. Divided by 3 for 75. You're gonna get 75 divided by 3 is gonna give you 25. So 25, and this should be 50. This should be what? 100? Yeah. And this 125. And this will be 175. Okay. So actually, to scale from 0 to 150, you see that in here, you can split it to become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So then you divide by 6, 150 divided by 6 is going to be 25. So then each piece in here is 25. So then you can easily figure out for each question mark in here equal to. Okay, I'm gonna stop the 2.3 here and see you in the next session.